Chapter 27. The Ants. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Ta-Sin. These are the verses of the Qur'an, a book that makes things clear, a guide to the right path, and glad tidings for the believers who believe in the oneness of Allah, those who perform prayers and give charity, and who believe with certainty in the hereafter. Indeed, those who do not believe in the hereafter, we have made their deeds fair seeming to them, so they wander about blindly. They are those for whom there will be an evil torment in this world, and in the hereafter they will be the greatest losers. And indeed you, O Muhammad, are receiving the Qur'an from the One, all-wise, all-knowing. Remember when Moses said to his household, "Indeed, I have seen a fire. I will bring you from there some information, or I will bring you a burning brand, so that you may warm yourselves." But when he came to it, he was called. Blessed is whoever is in the fire, and whoever is around it, and glorified be Allah, the Lord of mankind, jinn, and all that exists. O Moses, indeed it is I, Allah, the Almighty, the All-Wise. Throw down your stick. But when he saw it moving, as if it were a snake, he turned in flight, and did not look back. It was said, "O Moses, fear not. Indeed, the messengers do not fear when in front of me, except him who has done wrong, and afterwards has changed evil for good, then surely I am oft forgiving, most merciful. And put your hand onto your chest. It will come forth white without hurt. These are among the 9 signs you will take to Pharaoh and his people. They are a people who are the rebellious and disobedient to Allah. But when our proofs, signs, and revelations came to them, clear to see, they said, 'This is a manifest magic.' And they denied those proofs and signs wrongfully and arrogantly, though they were convinced. So see what was the end of the disbelievers, the disobedient to Allah, evildoers and liars. And indeed, we gave knowledge to David and Solomon, and they both said, 'All praises and thanks be to Allah, who has preferred us above many of his believing slaves.' And Solomon inherited the knowledge of David. He said, 'O mankind, we have been taught the language of birds, and on us have been bestowed all things. This indeed is an evident grace from Allah.' And there were gathered before Solomon his hosts of jinn, men, and birds, and they were all set in battle order, marching forwards. Till when they came to the valley of the ants, one of the ants said, 'O ants, enter your dwellings, lest Solomon and his hosts crush you, while they do not perceive it.' So Solomon smiled, amused at her speech, and said, 'My Lord, inspire and bestow upon me the power and ability, that I may be grateful for your favors which you have bestowed on me and my parents, and that I may do righteous good deeds that will please you, and admit me by your mercy among your righteous slaves.' He inspected the birds and said, 'What is the matter that I see not the hoopoe? Or is he amongst the absentees? I will surely punish him with a severe torment, or slaughter him, unless he brings me a clear reason.' But the hoopoe stayed not long. He came up and said, 'I have grasped the knowledge of a thing which you have not grasped, and I have come to you from Sheba with true news. I found a woman ruling over them, and she has been given all things that could be possessed by any ruler of the earth, and she has a great throne. I found her and her people worshipping the sun instead of Allah, and Satan has made their deeds fair seeming to them, and has barred them from Allah's way, so they have no guidance. Satan has barred them from Allah's way, so that they do not worship Allah. Allah, none has the right to be worshipped but He, the Lord of the Supreme Throne.' Solomon said, 'We shall see whether you speak the truth, or whether you are of the liars. Go with this letter of mine, and deliver it to them. Then draw back from them, and see what answer they return.' She said, 'O chiefs, indeed, here is delivered to me a noble letter. Indeed, it is from Solomon, and indeed it reads, In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Do not be arrogant, but come to me as Muslims, true believers, who submit to Allah with full submission.' She said, 'O chiefs, Advise me in this case of mine. I decide no case till you are present with me." They said, "We have great strength and great ability for war, but it is for you to command. So think over what you will command." She said, "Indeed, when kings invade a country, they deface it and make the most honorable amongst its people low, and this is what they do. But indeed, I am going to send him a present and see with what answer the messengers return." So when the messengers with the present came to Solomon, he said, "Will you help me in wealth? What Allah has given me is better than that which he has given you. No, you rejoice in your gift." Then Solomon said to the chief of her messengers who brought the present, "Go back to them. We indeed shall come to them with hosts that they cannot resist, and we shall drive them out from there in disgrace, and they will be humbled." He said, "O chiefs, which of you can bring me her throne before they come to me, surrendering themselves in obedience?" One from among the jinn said, "I will bring it to you before you even stand and rise from your place, and indeed I am strong and trustworthy for such work." One with knowledge of the Scripture said, "I will bring it to you within the blink of an eye." Then when Solomon saw it placed before him, he said, "This is by the grace of my Lord to test me, whether I am grateful or ungrateful. And whoever is grateful, truly his gratitude is for the good of himself. And whoever is ungrateful, he is ungrateful only to the loss of himself. Certainly, my Lord is rich, free of all wants, bountiful." He said, "Disguise her throne for her, that we may see whether she will be able to recognize her throne, or she be one of those not guided." So when she came, it was said to her, "Is your throne like this?" She said, "It is as though it were the very same." And Solomon said, "Knowledge was bestowed on us before her, and we were of those who submitted to Allah. And that which she used to worship beside Allah has prevented her from Islam, for she was of a disbelieving people. It was said to her, 'Enter that great palace.' But when she approached it, she thought there was a pool of water, and she tucked up her dress, exposing her legs. Solomon said, 'It is a palace paved smooth with crystal.' She said, 'My Lord, indeed I have wronged myself, and I submit in Islam together with Solomon to Allah, the Lord of mankind, jinn, and all that exists.' And indeed we sent to Thamud their brother Salih, saying, 'Worship Allah alone and no one else.' Then look, they became two parties, believers and disbelievers, quarreling with each other. He said, 'O my people, why do you seek to hasten the evil before the good of Allah's mercy? Why do you not seek the forgiveness of Allah, that you may receive mercy?' They said, 'We suspect an ill omen from you and those with you.' He said, 'Your ill omen is by Allah. No, but you are a people that are being tested.' And there were in the city 9 men, from the sons of their chiefs, who made mischief in the land and would not reform. They said, 'Swear to one another by Allah, that we shall make a secret night attack on him and his household, and afterwards we will surely say to his near relatives, we did not witness the destruction of his household, and indeed we are telling the truth.' So they schemed a plot, and we planned too, while they did not perceive it. Then see how their plot ended. We destroyed them and their nation altogether. These are their houses in utter ruin, for they did wrong. Indeed, in this is a lesson for people who know. And we saved those who believed, and who used to fear Allah and keep their duty to him. And remember Lot, when he said to his people, 'Do you commit evil while you see one another doing evil? Do you approach men in your lusts rather than women? No, but you are a people who behave senselessly.' There was no other answer given by his people, except that they said, 'Drive out the family of Lot from your city. Indeed, these are men who want to be clean and pure.' So we saved him and his family, except his wife. We destined her to be of those who remained behind. And we showered down on them a rain of stones. So evil was the rain of those who were warned. Say, O Muhammad, all praise and thanks be to Allah, and peace be on his slaves, whom he has chosen for his message. Is Allah better, or all that you ascribe as partners to him? Is he not better than your gods, who created the heavens and the earth, and sends down for you water from the sky, whereby we cause to grow wonderful gardens full of beauty and delight? It is not in your ability to cause the growth of their trees. Is there any God with Allah? No, but they are a people who ascribe equals to him. Is he not better than your gods, who has made the earth as a fixed abode, and has placed rivers in its midst, and has placed firm mountains there, and has set a barrier between the two seas of salt and sweet water? Is there any God with Allah? No, but most of them know not. Is he not better than your gods, who responds to the distressed one when he calls him, and who removes evil, and makes you inheritors of the earth, generations after generations? Is there any God with Allah? Rarely do you take heed. Is he not better than your gods, who guides you in the darkness of the land and the sea, and who sends the winds as heralds of glad tidings, going before his mercy? Is there any God with Allah? High and exalted be Allah, above all that they associate as partners to him. Is he not better than your so-called gods, who originates creation, and shall thereafter repeat it, and who provides for you from heaven and earth? Is there any God with Allah? Say, bring forth your proofs, if you are truthful. Say, none in the heavens and the earth knows the unseen except Allah, nor can they perceive when they shall be resurrected. No, they have no knowledge of the hereafter. No, they are in doubt about it. No, they are blind about it. And those who disbelieve say, when we and our fathers have become dust, shall we really be brought forth again? Indeed, we were promised this before. These are nothing but tales of the ancients. Say to them, O Muhammad, travel in the land, and note how the end has been for the guilty, those who denied Allah's messengers and disobeyed Allah. And do not grieve for them, nor be anxious and in distress because of what they plot. And the disbelievers in the oneness of Allah say, when will this promise be fulfilled, if you are truthful? Say, perhaps that which you wish to hasten on may be close to you. Indeed, your Lord is full of grace for mankind. Yet most of them do not give thanks, and indeed your Lord knows what their hearts conceal and what they reveal. And there is nothing hidden in the heaven and the earth, but it is in a clear book. Indeed, this Qur'an narrates to the children of Israel most of that about which they differ. And truly, this Qur'an is a guide and a mercy to the believers. Indeed, your Lord will decide between the various sects by his judgment, and he is the Almighty, the All-Knowing. So put your trust in Allah. Surely you, O Muhammad, are following the manifest truth. Indeed, you cannot make the dead hear, nor can you make the deaf to hear the call when they flee, turning their backs. Nor can you lead the blind out of their error. You can only make hear those who believe in our proofs, signs and revelations, and who have submitted themselves to Allah in Islam as Muslims. And when the word of torment is fulfilled against them, we shall bring out from the earth a beast to them, which will speak to them because mankind did not believe with certainty in our signs and revelations. And remember the day when we shall gather out of every nation a troop of those who denied our proofs, signs and revelations. And then they shall all be gathered to the place of reckoning. When they come before their Lord at the place of reckoning, he will say, you have rejected my revelations before acquiring knowledge about them. Is this not what you did? And the word of torment will be fulfilled against them, because they have done wrong, and they will be unable to speak in order to defend themselves. Do they not see that we have made the night for them to rest, and the day sight-giving? Indeed, in this are proofs, signs, and revelations for people who believe. And remember the day on which the trumpet will be blown, and all who are in the heavens, and all who are on the earth, will be terrified, except him whom Allah will exempt, and all shall come to him humbled. And you will see the mountains and think them solid, but they shall pass away as the passing away of the clouds. The work of Allah, who perfected all things. Indeed, he is well acquainted with what you do. Whoever brings a good deed will have better than its worth, and they will be safe from terror on that day. And whoever brings an evil deed, they will be cast down, flat on their faces in the fire. And it will be said to them, Are you being recompensed for anything except what you used to do? I, Muhammad, have been commanded to worship only the Lord of this city, Mecca. He has made it a safe sanctuary, and he possesses all things. And I am commanded to be from among the Muslims who submit to Allah in Islam, and to recite the Qur'an. So whosoever receives guidance receives it for the good of himself, and whosoever goes astray, say to him, I am only one of the warners. And say, O Muhammad, to these polytheists and pagans, All praises and thanks be to Allah. He will show you his signs, and you shall recognize them. And your Lord is not unaware of what you do.